Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to Hollow Knight Steel Heart tutorial, part 4. We're starting off here in Queen's Garden. We just got the white fragment from the White Lady, and now we are making our way immediately to Herrah, the Dreamer. One note is that on the bench there, I did not go ahead and equip Grim. We do need Grim to make Brum appear in Deepnest. And so that is a good point to go ahead and equip him. It'll save you an extra trip to the bench. I forgot to do it, so I'll just have to go ahead and go back to the bench a second time in the beast den. Alright, we're making our way into Deepnest. In this room, you'll just kind of jump over these spikes, and then stick to the right side of the room and just kind of drop down through there. Watch out for spikes as you go, and watch out for this spider here. And then when we come into this room, you'll immediately set a dream gate. This is the dream gate we'll use to warp back from when we finish Beast Den. And then you can crystal dash over from that platform, jump up when you see the big spider in the background, and then wind your way through here. And then here you can just dash over to the right there. Grab that wall and crystal dash, and that'll take you straight out into Distant Village. Alright, make your way up to Beast Den. If you equipped Grim, you can go ahead and talk to Brum there. He's in that door. I didn't, so we're going straight to Beast Den. We are not going to sit at this bench. We're going to climb up this wall, and then dash and double jump up into this little tunnel. That's a shortcut through Beast Den. It'll put us on the other side, and so we can just go straight up to Herrah from here with only one of those devouts in our way. I'm going to stop at this devout. He's always facing to the right, and so you can dream nail him for soul and healing as much as you need. It's real easy to kill the devout upstairs with just, 3 fireballs. So I get some soul from him. Note that if you have Grim equipped, Grim will aggro that guy and you won't be able to do that. Alright, and then Herrah's just on the other side of that devout. So we'll come in here and get her. And instead of going back out the way we came in, there is a grub here in Beast Den that we want to save. And it's over to the right. So we're going to just make a short loop here after the cinematic. Alright, so come over to the right, fall down, and then immediately fall down again. And the grub's just right there. And you can jump back up, head back to the left, and that's the devout we got soul from. And so now we're back here where we came in. And if you just go all the way down here, there's a bench. And here's where we'll need to equip Grim since we didn't do it before. So you do need Grim to make Brum appear here in Deepnest, because he gives you a flame. But when we do Banishment, we do not need Grim to make Brum appear up in the Howling Cliffs, which means we are now completely done with Grim. And so I'm going to go back up to the bench and unequip him and equip things that I'd rather have instead, just so I don't have to carry him all the way through Deepnest. We do have a few bosses that we're going to encounter. We're going to fight Galeon and Nosk, and then we'll go over and fight the Hive Knight. And so I want Quick Slash for those guys. Alternatively, you can equip Strength. It's probably better for Nosk, but Quick Slash is probably better for Hive Knight. So you can just kind of choose. And there are benches in between, so if you want to rest at those benches and change your charms for each fight, you're welcome to do that. We can sit at any benches at this point, because we're not going to save quit back to a bench until after the hive. Alright, so yeah, we Dreamgate back, go to the left, get that grub, and then keep going to the left. We're going to go into the Weaver's Den here. You'll want to get past this Devout. You can do that however you choose. I kind of bait him out here so I can pogo him. Then I end up getting hit anyway. And here in the Weaver's Den, we just want to grab the Weaver's Charm. And you can wall jump off of that and then dash double jump up to that ledge. You can also go around, but this just saves a little bit of time. There's a rancid egg down there, but it's not worth getting. There's a bunch of platforming you have to do with a lot of spikes. So. Alright, and then you want to exit this room at the bottom right, so you can go in this middle tunnel, or you can just fall all the way down. And once we come into this room, just stay up at the top, so you don't have to worry about that Devout. And then don't go up there, but go over this spike pit, and then immediately go up here. And this will take us up to Galien. And he'll be on the left here. It's a good idea to go into Galien's room with some soul. I'm missing 2 health, so I go ahead and heal. But I still have enough soul for 2 charges. You'll want to Abyss Shriek him kind of as soon as he appears in the arena. Galien's not a difficult fight, but if you're at all worried about it, there is some lifeblood in the cocoon right above his room. And it's 3 extra hearts, so it's quite a bit. But yeah, he's a pretty easy fight. You probably won't need it, but there's no harm in getting it either. Alright, so you can Abyss Shriek him as soon as his wheel starts spinning fast. You can go ahead and throw those Abyss Shrieks. Other than that, just kind of dodge that wheel. When it goes left, you go right. When it goes right, you dash left, that kind of thing. And just try to Abyss Shriek him when you can. And up slash him for soul, and he'll die pretty quickly. And we'll get his essence. Looks like he gives us 200. And then you'll want to go up out of this room. You'll take that middle tunnel, not the first one. Alright, and this will bring us to the failed tramway, where you get the tram pass. So I like to kill the guy up there, and then set a dream gate there. That way we just don't have to come back after we get the tram pass, because it's like a screen and a half over. Make your way through here. You can fall down here and go into this tram car and hit the switch on the right. That opens this door on the left. And then you can jump up and crystal dash from this little outcropping. And just drop right in. Get the tram pass, and then you can dream gate out. Alright, in this next room we're going to go ahead and drop down and save Zote. If you go to the left of that bench sign, and that bench sign, you'll get to the chamber where you have to fight all these guys to save Zote. And you have to save Zote 3 times. You have to do it once at the very beginning of the game in Green Path, and then you do it once here, and then I guess it's not technically saving Zote, but you fight him at the end of Coliseum 1 after you've saved him twice. So if you do Coliseum 1 before saving Zote twice, you'll need to do it again so you can fight Zote. And that'll unlock the Grey Prince Zote fight in Deepnest. And we do need to do that fight because it gives us a significant amount of essence. So we save Zote here, and then he'll be available at Coliseum, and then after that we can fight him in Dirtmouth. Alright, once you've got Zote, you can drop out of this room. There is a grub here on the left. He's got a giant spike pit below him, so you can just crystal dash across and then wall jump up. And then there is a little hole in that spike pit that you can fall through there to kind of get down faster. And this is the room where Nosk is. So we'll drop down to this landing here where that little rhino beetle is. And then we can crystal dash across. And then you want to set a dream gate again here. Nosk has kind of a labyrinth leading up to her room. And there's no enemies in it or anything. It's easy to traverse, but it's just kind of long, so we don't want to walk out. We'll just dream gate out. And you can dream nail all those corpses. They kind of let you know that you're not seeing things. There's some kind of predator that pretends to be other creatures or familiar creatures to lure prey. Alright, and for the Nosk fight, this little spot, that's a corner right there, just on the inside that ledge. That's kind of the safe zone for the fight. So if you ever need to heal, you just make your way there, and you can kind of be pretty well protected from everything Nosk does. So that'll give you time to heal. This spot right here. You can also hit her as she runs over you, and then that's the only thing you have to watch out for, is when she runs at you or when she jumps on the ceiling. If she jumps on the ceiling, you can shriek her up there. She's off screen, but you can still damage her. And this is another safe spot, but it's not quite as safe as this one. Yeah, shriek her when she's on the ceiling. And that's kind of this fight. You just kind of get some hits on her. You can D-Dark when she charges you, and you can shriek her if she's over you. If you're in the spot and she's standing above you, you can shriek her. If she's on the ceiling, you can shriek her. And then get to the spot if you need to heal. And other than that, it's not too bad a fight. She doesn't have that many HP. Alright, and we dream gate out. And then we'll want to exit to the right here. Alright, and like I said, there are benches in between, so if you need to sit at that bench and change your charm configuration, you're welcome to do that. We don't need to worry about save quitting back to benches. You come into this room, go up to the middle and set a dream gate. There's little items we need to get above and below this room, and so it'll help to be able to just kind of dream gate back into the middle there. You can use your shadow dash to get through these guys. And now we have the Sharp Shadow Charm. It's a nice charm for certain boss fights. It's pretty good versus Trader Lord, but we've already fought him. It's also, I like to use it versus Pure Vessel, but we will not be fighting Pure Vessel in the run. Alright, in this room there's a little platforming section where you've got a pogo across. You don't actually need the Garpede to pogo on. You can just pogo on the spikes directly. So if the Garpede's easier for you, you can use them, but you don't have to wait on him. And then straight up and over to the left for the vessel fragment. Alright, now we'll Dreamgate back and just exit stage right. And we can use the tram system now that we have the pass. And we're going to tram past Ancient Basin and just straight over to Kingdom's Edge and do the Hive next. And again, you can sit at the bench in the tram if you want to change charms. You can also establish it as a save quit bench after the Hive. And this is a nice little bit of game design here. They put those bees there right next to the breakable wall. And they're over a spike pit, so they're kind of difficult to melee, which makes a player want to fireball them and find that breakable wall. Just thought that was a neat little bit of design. How they let you discover it, but kind of give you a little subtle clue that it's not obvious they're giving you a clue. This game does that in several places. I know the first breakable wall you come across in Forgotten Crossroads, there's like a Geo Rock right next to it. And so you go over to hit the Geo Rock, and then you find the breakable wall kind of by accident. And that kind of teaches you, like, hey, there's breakable walls in this game. So I liked the little bit of design with the bees there. As you come through the Hive, there's lots of monsters in here. There's the bees, there's these guys that spit out bees, there's the bees with the gigantic stingers, and then there's big old bumblebees that deal 2 damage. So just kind of take your time going through here. What you don't want to do is rush through a room without killing anything and then find yourself surrounded by like 20 enemies and get into trouble. So feel free to take your time. And I'm hitting these Geo Rocks, but you don't really need to. And in this room, there's a couple things we want to get. There's a grub over here. If you fireball this guy, just kind of make sure he's out of the way. You can crystal dash, not from here. That's too low. But on the wall above that wall, if you get about the middle of the wall, you can crystal dash from there and it'll drop you just below the opening to the other grub. I'll do it here in just a second. Alright, and not from there either. This wall, right from there. And then stop your dash here and double jump up into there. This is one of the harder grubs to kind of naturally find in the game, I thought. Because you might not ever even see that area of the ceiling. Alright, in this room, make sure you don't kill this big guy until you get the mask shard. There's a little wall over here that you have to use one of the big guys to break. There are a couple of them in this room, but it's just easiest to use that first one. And you can get out of the way there, you don't have to get hit by him. And I sit here and try to cheese this guy, but it's a waste of time. Just a couple of fireballs will get the job done. But this is another room. There's two of those guys. There's at least two of the stinger bees. There's this guy at the bottom, and then there's a few stray bees as well. So lots of enemies, and it's definitely a room that if you rush through, you can kind of get yourself into trouble, especially since the exit is blocked off by some breakable walls that you got to cut through. And you want to go into the next room with full HP. It is the boss fight. It's not a very difficult boss, especially with the upgrades we have. But, you know, good to be at full HP anytime you go into a boss room. So he'll drop some bees here at the start of the fight. Just kind of do your best to dodge those. And the strategy for this guy is you just want to stand close to him and abuse the quick slash power. Anytime he dashes at you like that, use a descending dark. Other than that, just quick slash him. And then when he does his B move, you can also use D dark to kind of make sure you're getting the iframes to dodge those bees. But he dies pretty quickly as well. We're pretty strong versus this guy. And that will unlock Hive Blood, which is a charm that's not very good for combat. It has a regen effect, so whichever mask you lost most recently, it will heal back. But it takes several seconds for it to come back. So it's pretty worthless in combat because, you know, usually by the time that mask heals back, the fight is over one way or another. And if you can last long enough in the fight for that mask to come back, then you've probably got a pretty good mastery over it anyway. But it's great for platforming sections like the White Palace, where damage is pretty incremental. You know, you take a pass at something and then you hit the spikes, and then you come back and take another pass at it, and so that slow regeneration is actually pretty valuable there. And like I said before, combined with Grub Song, that's going to give us a lot of healing power. We'll be pretty much immortal through that section. Alright, you want to go to Waterways and get that grub. And then there's another Hive grub that you have to enter through Kingdom's Edge over here, through a different Hive entrance. It's a little isolated part of the Hive. Alright, now we're back to Kingdom's Edge. So we kind of come through that full circle there. We do need to go up and get the last dreamer. And I think that's what I do next here. It might actually be faster to go kill Markoth and Collector and do Colosseum at this point. But for whatever reason, I decided to do Watcher Knights first. Decided to run back here and set a Dream Gate so that I could warp back after beating Watcher Knights. But I will forget about that and walk back anyway. Alright, so when you come up to this next room, there's a switch that you have to hit, and there's one of those giant, or like Goliath husks or whatever they're called, guarding it. And ordinarily, you'd have to like go up and around, but you can actually just abyss shriek him through the floor. Kind of listen for his footsteps, and you can kind of gauge where he is. I missed, I think, twice there. Usually 2 abyss shrieks will do it. But I just got a little more soul and came back and get it again. That opened the door. Now I can just hit that switch and not have to worry about going up through that section. And then I'm getting a little bit of soul off these guys. We are going to have to fight another of those Goliath tusks to save a grub up here. And so having a little bit of soul, enough to do 2 D-Darks, is usually going to do it. And I apologize if I'm getting the names wrong. I don't actually know what these guys are called. The big baddies. Yeah, my first D-Dark guy got stuck on his shield or something, so it did not effectively damage him. So I needed a 3rd one, but D-Darks are generally pretty strong against those guys. Alright, here you can just wall jump up. And if you come up here and hit the chandelier, you can kill one of the Watcher Knights before the fight begins. And you can dream nail these guys before starting the fight, so you can get up to full HP and full soul, no problem. When the fight does start, the idea is to stay close and then quick slash them, and then when they slash at you, you want to shadow dash through them. I end up missing it every time here and doing a pretty terrible job on this fight overall. But they die really fast between quick slash and between upgraded spells. So there, I did get it dashing through them. When they get kind of close together like this, you can just use D-Dark, and that'll deal with them pretty quick. If they roll away from you, you want to fireball, or if they roll, you can jump over them and fireball as they roll away. That'll usually double or triple hit, so that deals a lot of damage as well. And I am tanking a lot of hits in this fight. You don't have to do that. I'm just playing badly. Again, we've got enough damage output that it's not gonna matter, but I advise playing it safer than that. Don't follow my example. I haven't performed terribly well on a lot of the boss fights in this run. This elevator too, you just want to send it back down and wall jump up because it's faster. Yeah, I haven't performed well against a lot of the bosses in this run, and it's a little unfortunate because ideally you guys would be able to see the boss strats and not just have me tell you about them and show you what not to do. But hopefully hearing me explain it is still helpful. And it just goes to show that if I can play terribly and still get the Steel Heart achievement, then you guys can definitely do it. A lot of it really does boil down to just making sure you have good equipment going into the difficult fights. And since we're not doing any of the like really difficult fights like the ones in Godhome, you know, just having all the upgrades makes most of the other fights pretty free. Hit that switch before you fall down, and then just kind of shift over to the side until the elevator passes you. Falling there's much faster. Although dream gating is faster still, and like I said, I completely forgot that I set the dream gate over there. Lurien does do a hard save up there at the top, so you can't save and quit back, which is why I set the dream gate, but I forgot about it. Okay, so now we're headed back over to Kingdom's Edge. I think I dropped down to do the Markoth fight, and then I do the Collector, and then go up to the Colosseum. Apparently I had other plans, but I must have changed my mind. Alright, so I'm headed over to Markoth. This is another of the dream fights that you may want to consider not doing. He gives us a good amount of essence. He is a little bit of a more challenging fight. Again, given the equipment that we have, you're probably going to be okay. But there isn't a lot of opportunity for healing in the fight, so you know, you just have to use your best judgment. Again, if you don't fight him, you'll probably need to fight Failed Champion. And Failed Champion is a dream fight, so it is technically a little safer. So you'll just kind of need to choose what you want to do. And yeah, again, normally you'd be fine, just don't do dumb things like I'm doing right now. If nothing else, you can always just try to stay out of his way and dodge the nails until he goes into his little wheel attack, and that can give you time to either damage him or heal up. Just try to save some soul for his second phase. When he has the 2 shields, it is a little bit harder to hit him, and so it's really nice to have some soul for that. If you don't, that is one good opportunity to use the dash slash because it does have so much range. Alright, now we're going to head over and do the collector fight. And I actually tried to fireball that guy and ended up doing a D-Dark. I don't recommend doing D-Dark in that room. You can easily plummet all the way to the bottom, and that's not what you want. Go ahead and set a Dream Gate here. It's not absolutely necessary, but again, saves a few seconds. And I try to get a little soul off of these guys with mixed results. So when you come up and do the fight here, there is a scream skip, but you have to kind of delay. I was a little too early there when I dashed into him, so I did not get the skip. And you could decide whether or not you want to go for it. It's not a big deal. This is also a pretty easy fight. Mainly you just want to hit those cages as soon as they open, and then when he drops down, you can quick slash him, and then anytime he jumps over you, you can use an Abyss Shriek. Just be aware he is a void creature, so you don't get any soul from him, but you do get soul from all his little minions. And once he goes into that phase, he's done. You just have to hit him a bunch of times before he calls it quits. Alright, we go upstairs here and we get the 3 grubs. We don't bother getting the map. It's not a completion percentage. And since I did not stop to purchase any of the maps, I wouldn't be able to use it anyway. And we only have, I think, 2 more grubs that we need to get. And we're going to get those shortly here after the Colosseum. So I mentioned in an earlier video, I only do Colosseum 1 to get the Charm Notch and to unlock the Grey Prince fight. Colosseum 2 is not terribly difficult, so if you want to do that, it's pretty safe, and you can get the Palor and do Pure Nail if you think that's something you want. I do not recommend doing Colosseum 3, as the difficulty scale between 2 and 3 is pretty hefty. But you're welcome to do 1 and 2. I mean, you're welcome to do 3, but, you know, it's difficult. And we will be using our Nail Arts quite a bit here. You can equip Nailmaster's Glory instead of Grubsong if you'd prefer that. But in Colosseum 1, it's kind of a non-issue. You've got plenty of time to charge things up. And any of these guys that you can just kind of Cyclone Slash right out of the gate and insta-kill them, it's usually worth doing that. These guys, we're going to Great Slash. Or just Fireball them if your Great Slashes are failing. But yeah, if you can get them right as they come out of the gate, Great Slash is an effective way to deal with them. And in between waves, you know, just do any healing as you need. Keep your health high so you don't get into any dangerous positions. And those are supposed to be Cyclone Slashes that didn't have the up button held down, I guess. Then with these guys, just make sure you don't get hit by their explosions when they die. And the last two things are a couple of Gruz Mothers, which you can just Abyss Shriek down real quick. If they do this, you can Shadow Dash through it without any trouble. And then I don't really have any advice for fighting the last boss here. You're just going to have to try not to die and do the best you can. I don't recommend bowing to him like I did. That doesn't help. Alright, and I did not know this, but the Colosseum also counts as a hard save. So I'm going to try and save quit back to the bench here, and it's just going to restart me at the Colosseum. So make sure you use your Dream Gate to get out of here, or just walk back. And my Dream Gate was at the Love Tower, but that's fine, it's still pretty close. After the Colosseum, we're going to do one more kind of collection pass. We're going to go to Green Path, We're going to visit Lake of Un and get Shape of Un. We're going to get a couple of grubs, pick up Baldur's Shell, go up through Howling Cliffs, and do Banishment, and then get Joni's Blessing. And this is kind of our last little collection run through the game. This is a good time to do any other side quests that you want to do. If you want to do Flower Quest, or any other, if you want to go back and kill, what's he called? The Crystal Guardian 2? Enraged Guardian. This would probably be a good time to do that. It's kind of just like we're at the end of the game and we're just wanting to make sure that we have 100% before we finish everything off. I would say it's also helpful to either sit at the bench at the stag station or set a dream gate. I didn't do that, and so I've got to walk out of Un's little cavern here. Alright, we want to come over here and get the grub from the Moss Knight that we did not get ever so long ago when we were here. And then we're headed over to Howling Cliffs. Go ahead and hit some of these guys. The giant Balder takes 2 fireballs to take him down. So just make sure you have 2 fireballs when you go over there to make things fast, so you don't have to wait on a Balder. Alright, and there's one more grub in this room. Just over here. And then you can crystal dash out to the Howling Cliffs, and we're going to come up and do Grim. And I did not open the shortcut, so I'm going to have to go around. If you open that shortcut when you go into that room the first time, then you'll be a little faster here. Again, not a big deal, but little time saves add up. Alright, and with that, everything having to do with the Grim Troop in the game will disappear. And a new NPC will appear in Deepnest who will give us the Carefree Melody. And that takes the place of the Grim Charm. Again, if you want to do Nightmare King Grim, you'll just need to pick up 2 more flames and go back to Dirtmouth and challenge him in the Grim Tent. So you can do that either way. It does count as a percentage of completion so you do want to do one or the other. But you'll get the percentage either way. Alright, now we come up and get Joni's Blessing. This is the room that we did not do earlier because we didn't have the lantern. And doing this room in the dark is just a little more treacherous than the very short Crystal Peak room. You can see there's a lot of spikes and a lot of bench flies, and they come out of nowhere. The speedrunners have routed this room to do in the dark, so if you want to learn it, you can from one of their tutorials. But I just do it now because we're over here anyway. And once we grab Joni's Blessing, we just want to go back to Dirtmouth, so you can just Dream Gate out of here. There's me realizing that I can just Dream Gate out of here. And when we get back to Dirtmouth, we're just going to go ahead and buy out the shops. We want to buy the compass from Iselda. It's the only charm that she has, so it's the only thing we need for percentage completion. Go ahead and get the Carefree Melody from this guy. And we'll buy... Oh, we'll get Nelmester's Glory. And then we'll buy all of the charms that Sly has and all of the vessel fragments. And we'll buy all but one of the mask shards. Again, since we picked up the one in Queen Station, we don't need the last one because it goes toward the last mask and we're not getting that. And that one that costs 1,500, that's the last one, so you can just not buy that one. And the compass is pretty easy to forget here, so just, you know, make a note that you need to drop in and buy it. And now we're going to do the Grey Prince Zote fight. So he's here in Bretta's house. Once you beat him at the Colosseum, you'll see this little light pillar appears and you can go down and then just dream nail her little monument. There's a whole little quest here. You can fight Zote again and again and again, and I think if you beat him 5 times, that fulfills Bretta's quest. She'll fall out of love with him and she'll leave Dirtmouth and move on to have her own adventures. You just need to beat him once though to get the essence and the percentage point. I think he's a percentage point. He may not be. But we do need his essence either way. The big strategy here is just, again, when he does that, you can jump over him and downward dark, descending dark, whatever it's called. When he spits Zotlings, you want to just abuse Quick Slash. So just kind of stay close to him and do that. You can deal out a lot of damage really quick. When he raises his nail back like that, sometimes he'll just fall over like he did there. But sometimes he'll do this little charge move, and if he does the charge move, just jump up and pogo and descending dark. That's kind of the safest way to deal with it. Anytime he drops like through the floor like that, when he lands, just go ahead and do a descending dark, but don't pogo. Because if you pogo, sometimes he'll jump up and hit you. And then you can kind of heal as he staggers. This fight is a little challenging if you're not familiar with it. So just kind of be patient with it. You will learn it over time. And it is a dream fight, so you can do it as many times as you need. So that brings us to 2100 essence. We are going to need 300 more, and we're going to get that from White Defender. But first we're going to go get Grubberfly's Elegy over here. We have now saved all of the grubs. And if he doesn't give you Grubberfly's Elegy, that means you've missed a grub somewhere. Hopefully that does not happen to you. It's not a good feeling. Especially since we don't have the collector's map and we can't just look up and see which one we missed. He does give us a lot of money, and this money is going to let us clear out Salubra, so we'll go down to her and buy out all of her charms next. And if we're really lucky, we should have enough to go ahead and have 3,000 to throw in the fountain at the Ancient Basin. I think we end up just a little bit short here, so I have to go sell a relic for them. But we have plenty of relics, so it's not too big a deal, just one more extra step. And this is kind of slow traversal. I shouldn't have gone this way. Salubra's hut is right next to resting grounds, and that's actually where we're going to need to go next anyway. Oh, no, it's not. That's not true. Probably it would have been best to come back to Salubra after doing resting grounds, rather than walk all the way across Forgotten Crossroads. But this is just me not really planning things out. I think I wanted the charm notches though before doing White Defender. Maybe that's what I was thinking. So now that we have all the charm notches, this is pretty much my default build, where I have Shaman Stone, Quick Slash, Grub Song, Strength, and Dream Weaver. Is that the name of that one? The Dream Nail Charm, whatever it is. Okay, so now we're going to go into the waterways here. We're going to finish up the waterways, so we'll take out White Defender, and then we'll go down and get Flukmarm. And I'm going to go over to Godhome and get the God Tuner, even though I'm not going to go up and do any of the stuff in Godhome. I think the God Tuner is 2%, so I decided to go ahead and show it here. Alright, and this is, you're going to see here what I meant by having to switch patterns. My brain is just not processing this fight right now, and I am taking loads of damage. It's okay, because this is a dream fight. But yeah, definitely took me a minute to pick up on what White Defender was laying down, and by the time I did, I was dead, so I have to come in here and fight him again. The hitbox on these little dung balls when he throws them, it feels inconsistent to me. I don't know exactly how it works. I just know that sometimes I get hit and sometimes I don't. So I try to kind of back away as he's throwing them, but sometimes I still get hit. Alright, so in this phase, if you're really needing to heal, sometimes you can get away with it. It is a little bit luck-based, but you've got like a 50-50 shot, which is pretty good. He's not a terribly challenging fight, but he's not a terribly easy one either, so it might take you some practice to get this guy. But again, it's good that he's a dream fight and you have unlimited tries. So now we're going to head over and fight Flukmarn. And Flukmarn is not a challenging fight. This is one of those bosses that if you find him when you have, you know, just the level 1 nail and Vengeful Spirit, he can be very, very challenging. And if you find him later in the game, he can be very, very easy. And I take my time and kill all these guys just to be absolutely sure I don't get overwhelmed. But you can decide whether you want to just rush through them or not. Alright, and he's hiding in this little tunnel here. So with him, you'll just want to charge up a Cyclone Slash. And I miss and do a Great Slash again. And then just throw a few Abyss Shrieks and he'll die immediately. Alright, and again, you don't have to come this way if you don't intend to do God Home. But if you want to do God Home, or if you just want to get the God Tuner for its percentage points, you can come over here. There are some big flukes in here that deal double damage. And you can stop and fight them, but you can also just shadow dash through them, which is probably the easier thing to do. And then you want to go up back there. Alright, and this brings us out into an area called the Junk Pit. And there is a sarcophagus containing the God Seeker. You do need to have a simple key to open it. So if you want to do this, make sure you pick up the simple key in the Ancient Basin before Broken Vessel. And then you can open this, and he will drop the God Tuner. And then if you Dream Nail him, he will take you to God Home. And there's 4 boss rushes there that each count for 1%. And it does count as a dream, I'm pretty sure. So you can't technically die in God Home, as far as I'm aware, unless it's to Absolute Radiance in Pantheon 5. Alright, so when we killed White Defender, we got the final essence. We now have over 2,400. If you don't quite have that, then you'll need to go find a Whispering Root and get a little bit more, but you should be pretty close to it. And she will give us the Awoken Dream Nail, which we'll use to go to the White Palace. And the White Palace I'm going to go ahead and cover in part 5 of the tutorial. It will be the last part, but I'm going to go ahead and conclude this part here. As soon as we get her last words. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you've come this far, you are very near the end. We've pretty much done all of the challenging parts of the run. The rest of it is just some platforming stuff and then fighting the Hollow Knight. So good luck with your runs, and I'll see you in part 5. Thanks.